Welcome back, YouTubers, to another video with me, NJ, and my special guest for this exciting video, my friend Ross Parks 18 from Twitter.
Hello everybody. Well, NJ, it's been about a week since a certain streak ended at WrestleMania, and The Undertaker went to 21-1, and I think we should have a debate on whether we think that Brock was the right person to end it, or whether it should have been somebody else to do it.
Well, that's the thing. I still don't believe, and I don't think I'm going to believe that Brock Lesnar was the right choice when two things. Number one, is the Undertaker streak the biggest thing going at Mania. So either it shouldn't have finished, or Taker should have wrote a contract that says this is his last WrestleMania match, or someone else should have ended the streak.
Yeah, I think that they could have sort of hinted more of it being Undertaker's last match to make it more of a special feel, but I do think that Brock was the right person to do it in the end because he's a legit UFC champion and he's a credible winner of that match. Brock Lesnar, would fight somebody and win.
Like John Cena.
Yes, because John Cena's a tough guy.
But no, I know Undertaker's getting old and he's going to leave the WWE at some point, but to feed something so special in the WWE and to the Undertaker to a part-timer where he could quite easily leave the company with that speciality is, in my opinion, unfair to the fans and to the WWE.
See, I think that this can work in a way if Undertaker's, we're presuming, is done, and it's been quite well documented over the last few years that Undertaker wanted to put somebody over in his last match. So, and then they had Brock Lesnar, this legit UFC fighter who was losing a little bit of steam in a way as a heel. And this match kind of puts a shot in the arm to Brock where it automatically catapults Brock Lesnar back up to being this monster. And now Brock can be built to this monster. And when somebody beats Brock in the future, because Brock's going to be wrestling, 3-4 times a year, which actually I think helps in a way as well, because if Brock just comes in, beats somebody, wins decisively, leaves, come back, wins again, and is built up to be this huge threat that nobody can beat. When the person finally beats Brock, it's going to mean a hell of a lot more to that person's career.
I know this Undertaker streak has given Brock Lesnar the kick that he needs, but I think with him not being there, and he's the same Brock Lesnar that only appears just before a pay-per-view, just before his match, it still doesn't really change much. Yes, he has the streak in the palm of his hands now, but he's still going to be the same Brock Lesnar.
But he wasn't. I don't think he was the real Brock Lesnar before the winner of the UFC championship, and what all these stats that Paul Heyman drops out, like he's the NCAA champion, WWE champion, UFC champion. Brock wasn't built up like that before. He lost to John Cena, which was a joke. Had a uneventful feud, I think, with Triple H, which Brock won 2, and I think Triple H won 1. And then he had a really good match with Punk, but still needed Paul Heyman's help to win that match. And Brock needs to be built up as a monster.
I do agree that Brock, especially going into his last year, needed something to push him, but now he's the guy who defeated the Undertaker. Where does he take this next when he's about to possibly leave in a year?
Well, I think the next logical step for Brock Lesnar is winning the title, but that's fantasy booking right now. But even if he doesn't, if Brock goes in there with somebody like Batista or Randy Orton at SummerSlam and just destroys them, and then he comes back and wins the title at the Royal Rumble and has a sort of reign like The Rock did, then whoever beats Brock at Mania would be pushed hard.
Well, let's go down the championship route because he is meant to be the number one contender. So at the minute, the champion is Daniel Bryan. And at the minute, like we pointed out, Brock Lesnar's faced big names in the company. Yes, Daniel Bryan right now is up there, but is Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar a match that majority of the fans want to see Lesnar or want to see Bryan in?
I don't know. People thought that about Brock and Punk to start with, and look at the match that them two put on. So no, there's a lot of people that thought Punk shouldn't be facing Brock Lesnar. He's not a viable threat. Brock should win this easy, but they actually put on one of the matches of the year last year, and I think that Daniel Bryan could do the same.
Well, the difference is, yes, Daniel Bryan's now the champion. Now he's over, but CM Punk, not trying to take anything away from Daniel Bryan because he's definitely making a better name for himself now. But CM Punk, before going up against Taker, Punk had faced and had some big moments in his career. Daniel Bryan has only started to get that. So someone who's just starting to get the big moments in his career to go into a match against Brock Lesnar, the guy who Paul Heyman puts over each and every week, the guy who defeated The Undertaker. Yes, it's going to give Brock Lesnar the championship, but I'm not sure if that match screams out the quality that Brock's had beforehand.
But as I say, I don't think Brock has had the good matches. I mean, I think the ones that he's had when he's come back, he's had one, and that was with Punk that stands out above the rest. The one with Cena, I thought was a really good match, but had completely the wrong ending. But Brock needed this shot, I think. And also, as well, moving on from that little point, who else could have ended it? If they're going to give it to a younger person, it's more of a risk than giving it to Brock Lesnar, who's always going to be associated with WWE.
Well, I had different theories about this because if we were to go down the route of talents that are building up a name for themselves, I felt that Taker, if the WWE wanted to continue to use Taker to get more Mania matches out of him, like it could have been Sting next year if he continued, then it could have been John Cena, and then it could have been a younger talent. So in 3 years, Roman Reigns would be in a better place. Uh, Bray Wyatt would have been in a better place. So in 3 years, Taker could have had a younger wrestler who's built himself up over 3 years to be a legitimate opponent.
But we know WWE's track record here, and I mean, you're talking about in 3 years. Look at the last 10. They've got John Cena as the man, and then there's everybody else around Cena. So you got Brock and you've got Cena, which I hope to God I would never have ever seen. I'm glad I didn't. As the only two I feel that were credible enough to actually beat Undertaker.
In 3 years, who says that Roman Reigns can't be over, can't have done big things in his career? Who says Roman Reigns wouldn't be in a better place in 3 years, ready for Taker?
There's not, but as I've said, look at the track record of people getting pushes and then getting de-pushed because they've done something wrong or they've annoyed somebody in the wrong place. And then say one of them wins and then does that and annoys somebody and then starts jobbing, it turns a streak into a joke.
In my argument to that, Brock Lesnar walked out the company after a horrible WrestleMania match, but he was still forgiven. He was still built up to face Taker at WrestleMania.
But when Brock came back and he won the UFC title, and you could not have Brock not be in big matches because Brock Lesnar is a big draw. He's one of the only few they've got, I'd say, along with Cena. Daniel Bryan's on the way up, and when he's around The Rock, and Brock's the only other one on that level.
The fact they forgave Brock Lesnar for what he did and brought him back and gave him all that he's had so far, what stops, let's say Roman Reigns slips up, but what stops them forgiving him, because they still see potential in him, to go against Taker?
Because of money. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns at the moment, I don't think would be drawing money if he was just shoved out there on his own straight away, but not on the level of Brock Lesnar. And I think as well now, Taker's done. Are we kind of agreed on that? That Undertaker's now done, that he's lost.
Well, that is what is set in stone no matter what now, because he's lost the streak. I was just naming, as we were saying, who I would have had. So if we're not gonna have Bray Wyatt being built up over 2-3 years, if we're not gonna have Roman Reigns, again, still going down the 2 to 3 year idea. If they can make Kane a believable monster again, or have a believable storyline to face Taker, maybe they bring up childhood. Maybe they bring up Kane's debut. Maybe they bring up Paul Bearer. But in 2 years, I felt the WWE, if they really concentrate on it, could have brought Kane up to a strong level again, brought a strong family storyline, and had them both go out together.
That depends on, I think, if Kane's around in 2 years' time. I think Kane's kind of winding his career down now, and he's going to be more of an on-screen personality than a wrestler, I think, now with Kane.
Kane's winding down just like Taker. They could have done the contract signing. If I beat you, we're done. If you beat me, I'm done. Or whatever. They could have gone up together in 2 years.
But I don't think that Kane's as big a name as a Brock Lesnar or an Undertaker or a John Cena. Kane's kind of mid-carder now, and I don't think Kane's ever going to be on the level, main event level now, of being a Lesnar or a Cena.
Maybe not. This was the story behind Kane and The Undertaker could have made that match. I know it would have been his numerous time against Taker Mania, but the story, because like I was saying about the streak, End of an Era was the last biggest story the WWE had that would have ended the streak in the most perfect way. But think about Kane and Taker's history. There's the second story.
I don't know though, because I don't know if Kane was going to retire. I mean, Undertaker's what, 49 now, so he'll be what, 51 in 2 years, and Kane will be in his late 40s. And if Kane's going out, then what would that achieve with Kane ending the streak? And then I think as well with Lesnar winning it now, and I know Brock's got a year left on his contract, but if he stays, say Brock stays around for another year or two, and they leave Lesnar undefeated until his last match, where then a Roman Reigns or a Bray Wyatt could beat Brock the Monster, then it will put them over more, I think, than if they did it now, because by the looks of it, Taker's done. And if Roman Reigns or Bray Wyatt beat Undertaker today, people think this is a joke. What have these two done to win the streak? And Brock was actually a credible person to win.
I know it's hard to say what 2 years could have achieved. Maybe Taker would have been more brittle in 2 years, so it would have made the match. It would have made the match worse. But I just don't see like Lesnar. The story was horrible. The build was not really good. The only thing that was in Lesnar's favour was his outside of WWE. That he didn't really have any going into the match.
I think that WWE, in a way, tried to pull something off with the story and completely misfired with it. I think that they tried to build everybody up to think that Brock had no chance, which is stupid anyway, because just look at Brock Lesnar. And then, so when Brock won, they wanted it to be just complete shock, which they got. But I do think they should have gone a different route building that matchup. But the end result is what they wanted.
I agree that the shock factor gave this WrestleMania its special moment, its unexpected moment, its surprise factor. But maybe the surprise factor gave WWE what they wanted, but gave the future of WrestleMania or the future of the fans feelings about Brock, feelings about the WWE, a sour taste, because now Taker's possibly left, Lesnar's left with the streak, WrestleMania's lost its one of its final agreed matches or moments.
What I'm going to say though is Undertaker wouldn't have decided a week or a month before this match. He'd have known 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago if this is it, this was going to be it for him. He wouldn't have just gone to Vince a week before and said, I'm done. So WWE obviously have plans for Brock after this match, otherwise they'd have put somebody else in there to win, especially if they knew that they wanted Brock to win. So that kind of, and with Brock only being around 3, 4, 5 matches a year, he's easier to write for as well than to write for somebody every single week. So it makes me more hopeful that Brock will take this win and be pushed in a better direction than if, as I said, somebody that's around every single week won.
Even though it is Taker's, what's been reported, Taker's idea to lose to Brock Lesnar, with the reaction the crowd was given throughout the whole match, the feeling going into the match, I feel that Vince McMahon should have signed something, or someone should have signed, because that match, even now, it's been a week later, I'm still not feeling the positivity of what that match provided us. Maybe Lesnar's yet to offer me something, but Taker, one of the most respected and legends in the WWE, has now gone. And what, like I was going to ask you, what does that mean for WrestleMania?
WrestleMania itself, I think, will be just fine because the name WrestleMania sells itself, I think. I think that this, I know Undertaker lost his streak, but I think that this also ended another streak that was going on of Undertaker stealing the show with his actual match of WrestleManias. I don't think this match was much good at all. But I mean, we've got to mention that Undertaker suffered a serious concussion like 5 minutes into the match, so you can't hold that completely against him. But Undertaker's 49 and he wasn't going to go on for another 5, 10 years and the injuries that Taker's got, it was coming. So you do need to, and they say you needed to get rid of the streak because Undertaker wanted to lose. As I said, the only two now that could have ended it were Brock and Cena.
Yes, Taker may have signed that the streak needed to finish for him to finish, and you say that we're only left with Brock or Cena, but I just think that the WWE had potential in the streak either continuing for a few more years or for it to be fed, maybe not ended, to other wrestlers. I just felt the way they could have built up this match, like you agreed with me earlier, could have been different, so we got more of a important feeling for his last match. Because Taker's left WrestleMania with a match that got bad reaction going in, bad reaction during the match, but okay reaction because the WWE got what they wanted after the match.
But as I said to you earlier, with what I've seen online, when we say that a legit UFC champion beat a 50-year-old man, but he has magical powers, damn it.
I'm trying to laugh, but this is, well, after the week of it happening, like I said, I still feel negative about it. You're bringing the positives of what Taker slash WWE could have decided. We can just only hope that Brock gives us a good last year instead of, in my opinion, this horrible build he's had so far in the WWE. Because I'm going to say this, I prefer the old Brock Lesnar, the one who went against Kurt Angle, the Big Show, that Brock Lesnar. This one, it all went downhill once he lost to John Cena.
Yeah, I agree, because I think everyone should agree that seeing Brock Lesnar just demolishing people and throwing people around is very entertaining, and if this helps Brock get to that point, then I'll be happy.
Obviously, we both have different agreements here. I could agree that maybe right now Brock and Cena were the final two people to have given Taker a possible finishing streak match, but that's still 2 years. That's 2 more years the WWE could have given their creative team to hopefully continue booking up characters like Bray Wyatt, like Roman Reigns. That was 2 more years, you pointed out, that could have given us that feeling. Nothing stops the WWE in 2 years giving Roman Reigns a feeling that he could go in there and rip Taker apart.
I've just got to say to this though, I don't think it was WWE's choice for Undertaker to go out this year. It would have been Undertaker's call this year to say, right, I'm done. That's enough. So we could say that, but then if Taker wanted to leave, then you can't book somebody for 2 years. But then you've given the streak to Brock. You've given yourself another year or two to build somebody up to then be shot to the moon.
Maybe so. But the topic of this video was, do we believe that Brock was the right choice? And I'm still sitting here, listen to your points, agree with them, but I still look at Brock and think, no, this is not how I'd want to see Taker finish. At least CM Punk, the guy who's also left the WWE, has something over John Cena. Taker faced CM Punk. Taker will not face John Cena.
Let's just say as well, after last year, I bet WWE was glad that they didn't give the streak to CM Punk after he walked out.
That's why it all adds up pretty much to end of an era. Taker even said, if anyone was to take me down, I'd like it to be you. It was all adding up. And plus the story going into it, the feeling, the wrestlers involved. The end of an era should have been the end. We could be positive. We're going to be positive about the future of Brock Lesnar. Taker's gone for what we're thinking. I just feel that the WWE going into this WrestleMania should have been done differently. Brock should have been booked differently. He could have had more of a winning streak, more of a beast streak. The only thing that was really making Brock look big in this match was what Heyman was saying about Lesnar's past.
Yeah, very honest, I'm a big Paul Heyman fan, by the way. And yes, I think Paul Heyman was the highlight of the feud. And I think this actually will give a big push to Paul Heyman as well. Even if Brock leaves, Paul Heyman's always got this. But I'm just curious to see what other people think about this now.
And because of those words, I think this is the perfect time for us to ask you guys to share your thoughts on Brock Lesnar versus the Dead Man, the Phenom, the Undertaker. And do you agree or believe that Brock Lesnar should have been the one to end the streak?